Jesse, I love you, and I'm very proud of you. And just to let everybody know, like, I don't give people jobs unless I see motivation in them and see a change in them. So I'm glad to bring you on board at work. You're doing wonderful. Just keep striving to do better. I know it's a battle every day at work. I know it is. I know your job. I know it's a battle. Just keep doing what you do. Lean on God for your strength to get you through the day, because at the end of the day, you'll be like, I made it. Okay? So I'm Callie. I'm a grateful believer.
Hi, Callie.
Really, my name is Kalisti. I go by Callie because nobody can say Kalisti, and I get sick of correcting them. So, Monday, I just celebrated 4 years clean of a mental health. I also want to give a big shout out to Christina. She just celebrated 4 years clean today. Most of you know me. Most of you were around me in my addiction. My whole family suffers from addiction. Did suffer from addiction. We are no longer addicts. Yeah,
Amen.
God broke them chains. We were horrible. I was a horrible person. I would steal, lie. I mean, we'd go dumpster diving. She's laughing. She did it with me. I have 3 beautiful children. 13-year-old, which is here with me. Yes. I have a set of twins. When I went to court, they gave me a decision because I was not done. I was not done. I still wanted to do my will. I still wanted to live that life. I was not done. They took my kids. I didn't have a home, but yet that was still not enough. I didn't care. All I cared about was my next fix and what I was going to do to get that next fix. My twins got adopted. I agreed to let them get adopted to a wonderful Christian family. They are going on 9 years old this year.
They're 9?
Yeah, 9. Recently, I just found out that they do know who I am. They know that they have a brother.
Amen.
And that their foster or their adopted parents didn't hide that they were adopted. So they know that they're adopted. Their names got changed from Dominic Diesel to Johnny and Josh. And but they know that I'm their mom. But not only in my addiction did I ruin my kids' life, I was using with my brother, I was using with my mom. A lot of you in here I used with. It was horrible. The day I got busted was April 26, 2017. You can vouch for it, I weighed 80 pounds when I went to jail.
Wow.
I was gray. I had no color in me whatsoever. I recently just posted a picture of the day I went to jail and to me now. And I always say this, I thought I was cute when I was out getting high at 80 pounds, getting clothes from the little girls section. You know, because girls strive for that outlook, that identity. And really our identity comes from Christ.
Amen.
So, I battled with that for a little bit, and not as long as some people, but it was bad enough. I got kicked out of my parents' house, and that's a real hard thing because I'm a daddy's girl. If anybody knows me, I'm a daddy's girl. Me and my brother, we fought tremendously, fist fought, and now he's my best friend. My mom recently just got out of prison 2 years ago, and all of us are in recovery together because all it takes is one person to light the path for them other people.
Amen.
And it's no greater feeling. Is recovery easy? No. Because if it was easy, we would all do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is hard. But we took that drive and we went out and chased drugs. I know many days it was hard for us to get drugs at one point in time, unless you were doing something for that person, or you were going in debt to somebody else, or you were robbing somebody. It was always a competition. So on April 26, 2017, I just got back from Big Rapids, stopped at a friend's house in Constantine, Michigan, dropped off, I thought I dropped off everything I had, went to, anybody that knows me knows I love my Long John donuts in my fountain costume. That's what I wanted every morning. So I went to Speedway White Pigeon and got my Long John donut and my fountain pop. Prior to that, I knew I had like 7 misdemeanor warrants. I always ran, always. It was a repeated cycle. I'd go to jail for a week or 2, get out on misdemeanor warrants. And it was always for stealing, like going to the store and stealing. Like, who caught eventually. Like, but we don't think when we're addicts, or when we're in our addiction, we just do what we want to do. We think we're untouchable. And they came up to the car and they're like, Miss Calvin, you know you got warrants. Well, yeah, I know I got warrants. I thought I was just going in on them warrants. I went into holding. They pulled me out. They said, Miss Calvin, what is this? I said, well, what does it look like this? In my purse, they found methamphetamines. I got a possession of methamphetamines, my first felony ever. By the grace of God, I never got caught before that. At that time, I didn't think about that, though. I just thought, oh, I'm lucky. They're not worried about me. They're worried about bigger people. But it was the grace of God. Now that I look back, it was the grace of God and God's hand that never let me get caught before that. Because I had 2 years clean before I relapsed. And I walked away from God. I went through the Hope House in Sturgis, went to their sober living, did 6 months there, and I relapsed. Because I walked away from God. I walked away from my church. I walked away from recovery. I thought I could do it on my own. That was the second time my kids got taken from me. Twice, 2 or 3 times they got taken from me. And I went back out, and it was years later that I got in trouble. Believe it or not, somebody else called CPS on me. They came to my cousin's house, took my kids that day. But that still wasn't enough. If you want to change, you got to change for you. Because you're not going to be able to change for your kids. You're not going to be able to change for somebody else. You're not going to be able to change for your mom. You're not going to be able to change for your brother. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm going to tell you that some of us have a basement, but that basement has another level to it. And I'm telling you right now that other level is 10 times harder to get out of than the basement is. So just rely on God. Do I strive? The energy I had in my addiction, I take that and put it towards my walk with God. At first when I came in, well, let me rewind back to jail. I did, 6 months, right? We had to do 6 months. Was it 6 months?
I was there for 28 days, but
I think it was 6 months.
you were there for a while after me.
Yeah. But I'm telling you right now, like, I ran into jail, I'm like, oh, it's just a vacation, it's nap time. I was planning on how I was gonna get out and go right back to the way I was, because I wasn't ready to change. But God knew that something was in me, that He had to do something because rehabs didn't work. I went to several rehabs, and the day I got out of rehab, I'd be right back to it. So God knew something, and my dad told me, he said, it's gonna take you sitting in jail. Look, I'm pretty tough, but jail ain't for me. It's definitely not for me. But I was blessed to be put in a cell that, we had several people that would come into the catwalk and say that they could just feel the different, you would go to one side and they could feel the anger and the devastation and like they would just fight constantly on one side, and then they said that they would come to our cell. We were blessed, that a lot of us in that cell were ready to change, and we were blessed to have Bible time, study time in that cell. The phone call besides me surrendering my will to God was my son and my niece, will make me cry, but my mom and dad would never answer the phone for me. I don't know how many times I tried calling them, they would never answer. Tough love, right? My son and my niece answered, well, my sister answered, but I talked to my son and niece, and my niece said, when are you gonna get out and be a real leader? That hit. I had like 30, 60 days sober, and that hit me. And then my son said, when are you gonna get out and be a real mom to me? So in the mix of sobering up and knowing that I needed to change, they also had that. And I'm standing before you to tell you, like, it's bad that my brother was in jail at the same time as me, but if it wasn't for my brother being in jail at the same time as me, I don't think I would have changed either. Because we clicked, even though we were on 2 different sides. Like, I didn't really click that I needed to change when I went to jail until he came up from the back and said he was disappointed in me. And all I said was, why? You're in here for the same thing I am. Right? But even though he was in there for the same thing, I look up to him. Even though he's my little brother, I look up to him for a lot. I got out, and I knew I had to change. I knew that whatever I was doing in jail to focus my life on God, I knew I had to do that when I got out. I went right back to my mom and dad's house. My dad let me come home. I went right back to there. My mom was not done using when my brother got out, he was not done using. If anybody knows my brother, he's very stubborn. He is not done until he's ready to be done. It was like, I just took my time and I went to work at Morgan Olson, which everybody knows is like 12 12, 13 hours a day. And then I hit meetings. I knew that I had to focus my time on what I wanted, no matter what circumstances I'm in. I knew what I had to do to stay sober. So it was like 3 or 4 months after living at my mom and dad's, I went to my parole officer or probation officer, and I'm like, I need to move. Like, can I have your permission to move? And she gave me permission, and by the grace of God, someone at church had a house that was for rent at the exact same time. Like 2 days prior to that, a family moved out. The house was destroyed inside, so I got, he said I could have the house, but I had to clean it. That's still where I'm at to this day. Not many people know where I'm at, because I don't want people from my past to know where I'm at. I've seen several people from my past, and they're like, we thought you fell off the face of the earth, and sometimes I just want to look at it and be like, good, keep it that way. Don't get a hold of me.
Amen.
But that's not what God calls us to do. God calls us to be the light that they need in their darkness. I got several visits from Pastor Drake. I don't know how he knew that I was in St. Joe County Jail besides mobile patrol, but he came up and pulled me out for a visit, and he just loved me while I was sitting in jail. And I knew that when I got out, I had to go back to what I was doing before, when I had 2 years sober, and that was celebrate recovery in church. You guys, ever since that I surrendered my will and I got out of jail, like I said, I'm 4 years clean. My son, I get him every weekend. My sister, she's amazing. She's never done drugs in her life, and she stood by all of us through our addiction. I am a certified recovery coach. Last March, I got ordained to be the pastor at Destiny Church, the recovery pastor at Destiny Church. It is the drive that I had for my addiction. I took it into my walk with God, into my recovery. When I first came into recovery, I was worried about, I want people to know I'm in recovery. So that's what I walked out. And then my pastor sat me down, which is also my mentor, and he said, do you want people to know that you're in recovery? I said, yeah, of course I do. I don't want that around me no more. I've changed. I don't want that. And he said, or do you want them to know that you're a child of God? And I was like, what? What if I want both? And he said, after so long in recovery, that people know you're in recovery. So then you need to start walking out your calling that God has for you. So when I started doing that, God just started showing up. Like, my brother came into recovery with me, which is amazing. It was about, I think, a year after I got in recovery, he came in with me. I told him, come out of the probation center. It was when our services were on Sunday nights. Our Celebrate Recovery. I said, it's a Celebrate Recovery. Little did he know it was revival night. I just didn't tell him that. And he got baptized and saved, and now he lives for the Lord. It's nice that our families can come together. Our family can come together at Christmas, at Thanksgiving, and we're not all waiting for the time to run out to go get high. Or we're all there together. What kept me going in my recovery would be believing, God showing me that if you have faith, you can move mountains. Yeah. I just bought, by the grace of God, a brand new vehicle. To me, it's a new vehicle to me. But never in my life would I thought I'd be able to afford an SUV. I have a great job. I might work a lot of hours, but it's worth it. If I'm staying busy, then I have no time to get in trouble. My dad lives with me. He's amazing. He don't deserve everything we put him through. If anybody knows my dad, knows that he's an amazing person. He don't deserve it, but he stood by all of us through it all. And like, my walk with God has pushed off onto my kids, like generations, that I broke that generation curse of addiction, and now it's the new life that I'm living is going into my generations. My son goes to church with me. He's maxed out in children's church, but he still goes. He goes and serves in children's church, and sometimes I'll look over and he'll be raising his hand, praising God, and it just shows you that if you believe in God, then it will go on to generations and generations to come. Your kids look up to you to what you're doing in life. If your kids aren't in your life right now, give it time, because God can restore everything that was stolen from you or you gave away tenfold. Okay, live by faith and not by sight, because A lot of people have a hard time with that because they can't see God, but we couldn't see the people making our drugs either, right? We believe that it was okay. Most of the time, we couldn't see what people were doing. So why not believe in something that's gonna help us? Our will got us in trouble. A lot of us, our will got us in trouble. Got us in jail, prison, you know, our whole family's ripped. And right now I see, God working in everybody's life. Like, the trauma class I had to go through was amazing. I wish I could go through it again. I wish they would put us through it again, but they won't. What else? Is there any questions? I haven't done my testimony in a long time. Long time. Is there anything else? Justin, you always got something to say. These are people from my church. So, it's kind of nice. They say that eventually you start living the right way, people know you as that person. I'm no longer Callie the meth addict, you know. If you hear my name, you hear what I'm doing now. But that's still not my identity because my DNA and my identity comes from Jesus Christ.
Hallelujah.
As long as you serve him and give him the will, he'll make it through each and every day. He'll help you make it through each and every day. We were driving back from Angola yesterday and it was cloudy, but the sun was still shining, right?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me in this scenery? And it's even when your eyes are clouded and you think you're in the darkest spot in your life, he is still shining, right? What, Justin?
After sobering up, what kind of other problems that would make a mask or came to surface for you, like with relationships or maybe do you try to
Relationships, codependency, control issues, anxiety, depression. Instead of facing everything and running, I faced everything and rose, because that is what God calls us to do. If we surrender it over to the cross, he picks it up. But God wants you to lift, say all your problems are in a balloon. He wants you to lift that up to him and cut the rope so we can't grab it back down. He wants you to let you have it. Is your walk with Christ gonna develop 100% overnight? No. It's an everyday progress. Every day is a new day, and every day you gotta choose to seek God, because the more you seek him, the more you'll find him. And if you're struggling, reach out, because like Jess said, I love seeing people like bloom in their recovery. It's what I strive for, to see people walk their recovery out. I do have a women's group. It's my first women's group that I started on Fridays at Destiny at 6:30. That's amazing. I've seen several girls and guys come into recovery and come out of recovery, and it breaks my heart to see them go back out. And I know that's not what I need. That's definitely not what my kid needs, my sister needs, my family needs. So if you're like rocking out in recovery, I'm proud of you guys, because this is not easy. Especially working in a trailer factory. Justin and Christine and I have shared several times, you know, there's people right next to us. You can tell, I mean, we can point them out from a mile away, and they're like, no. But you gotta have that strength, you gotta rely on God no matter. The world don't change just because we're in recovery, we change to adapt to the world.
Amen.
Right? I don't allow anybody that's in addiction in my life. I've set that boundary. Will I help somebody? Yes, if they're willing to help themselves. But will I let them come close enough over that boundary? I will not. I will not. Because all it takes is us to have one bad day and get the enemy to attack us, and we're right back off to the races. And if I won't go back, because I'm relying on God, but if there was a time where I go back, everybody would know it, because I wouldn't have nothing. And I've come too far. Like I said, I have a house because of God. I'm 4 years clean. My kids are back in my life. I mean, I'm getting moved up at work. I'm able to help other people. I graduated, or got off probation. My probation officer said I was the most boringest client she ever had. And I was like, I'm boring. Last time I knew I was pretty fun. But she said, no, I never had to worry about you failing. But that's because we strive to do better, and it helps to have accountability. So I'm over near 3 of us, but I still have accountability in Sturgis. Do I come to Sturgis? No. And if I do, like today, when I leave, I'm going straight back out of here. I won't stay here because I know that I can't. I have accountability in the WATCH Act. It's good to have accountability no matter where you're at, because sometimes, like, we get wrapped up in our own lives. We're busy in our own lives, and with, like, Saturdays are my son's days. I don't answer phone calls, I don't take time away from him. Them are his days. We go and do whatever he wants. Crazy, but, so you need to have a bunch of different people that you can call and rely on, not just one person, because if that one person's not available, then you don't have nobody to talk to. I'd rather you call me if you're getting ready to use, than call me after you use. I want you to call me after you use, but I'd rather you call me before or during the time so I can try to talk you out of it, try to help you, because the Bible says when you're tempted, God will provide a way out.
Amen.
It don't say that we will never not be tempted, because we're tempted every day. Are we gonna wake up and we gonna live for our will, or are we gonna wake up and live for God's will in
There
His
you
way?
go. There it is.
Is there any more questions? All right, well, thank you, Callie. Really appreciate your time.
So I just want to say, mine and Callie's story is so much alike. I have 5 kids that were taken from me. I have one of my daughters back in my life now. It's amazing. The feeling is tremendous. And if you can get to that point and you start having the people come back in, it just makes everything worth it. All the hard times, all the struggle, all of the darkness that you feel coming out of addiction. You know, where are your friends at? Where's everybody at? Because you done lost all your family. You know, you don't have your friends there anymore because they're all out using still. So to have any kind of reward as in a family member coming back or a friend turning to recovery, it is amazing. The feeling is great. So I am so happy that all of you are here today. I'm so happy that you're all in your recovery. I get to be really thankful because every single weekend my mother comes here. I did not have a relationship with my mom for a very long time. I can admit this now, but I used heroin inside of her home. I lost her grandchildren. I used it in front of numerous people without even thinking about it and disgraced our family name. The Chester name was a very, very good, well-to-do name, and I ruined it through and through. I have a big brother. He's still in active addiction. He's actually sitting in prison right now, but I've been trying to reach him. I've been trying to reach out to him as much as I can because of Callie's story. Because she says to me all the time, just give one tiny little hand, you know, just give those couple little words and it might grasp somebody's attention. When Beth asked me to do this program, by the way, I almost forgot to tell you guys, Beth will be back next weekend, and she misses you all very much. She can't wait to come back. But between the two of them, I constantly have what would you call it? Not just accountability, but a strive to be just like them. I mean, me and Beth got into recovery at the same time. We've been doing this walk together the whole time, and I really don't think that I could have done it without her. But meeting Callie in my recovery, I met her in her 2 years sober. I don't know if she really remembers 100% of it, but I was in the probation center for the first time. I've been in there twice, but I got sent there from Branch County and ended up staying for 5 months, and I would go and volunteer at Destiny Church. And I can remember just a couple different times her standing up in front, and she had all of her jewelry on, and she looked so pretty and so exciting. And then when I came back, she was talking about how she had relapsed and how she was walking with the Lord and how she had stepped away and all this other stuff. And I thought to myself, I met this girl when she was so vibrant. You know, like I've never seen Callie use before. So for her to fall off the wagon, maybe to me, there was hope. You know, like if she could do it, if she could go from what I saw to falling right on her face and then right back up again, then I can do it. I know I can do it.
Amen.
You know, she's got a story that sounds so much like mine. You know, I have great parents, amazing parents, I should say. My dad has always stood by my side. It was a rocky road at the beginning. There was a lot of mental and physical abuse, which I have forgiven my dad for through and through, but my dad never gave up on me. Until one day when he said, don't call home again. I got arrested here in St. Joe County for the first time, and he said, he answered the phone and he said, do not call again, and he hung up on me. And I thought to myself, how can you hang up on me? How are you gonna hang up on me? Why would you do that? And I called back and called back and called back, and I got no answer. None. For the whole 10 months I sat in St. Joe County Jail. Then I got shipped back to Coldwater because I was facing 5 years in prison in Coldwater, and the only person that was sitting in the front row was my dad. He was right there because it was a trial, and they were gonna send me to prison. And he thought for sure that would be the last time that he saw his baby. Because he thought, she's gonna get out of prison and she's gonna be dead. He said to me, the only time that I know you're safe is when you're locked up, and that's the only time I'm happy. It kills me to think that I couldn't have ever been anything for my dad, you know, like, I was a disgrace to our family, I was a disgrace to him, and it killed him all the time. You know, I have my stepfather, God rest his soul, so many times, which my mother doesn't know about, he called me just to check on me while I was actively using. He would call and say, are you all right? Have you ate? Are you okay? And I would always tell him, you know, yeah, it's all right, it's fine. My stepdad died quite a few years ago now, but I never got to say goodbye to him. And I was still in my addiction. And a lot of the times I sit here and I think to myself, I'm doing this not only for myself, but to have him watch down up there and tell me that I'm worth it. There's another song that I listen to all the time, and it says that I'm worth it. I'm going to end today with that song. It's called Redeemed by Big Daddy Weave. I don't know how to get the lyrics per se, that's the best job, but I'm going to try. But this song makes me think about my stepdad every single time, because to him I was worth it.
Just find the lyrics,
Oh, I'm definitely
version of the video. Maybe.
going viral.
Are you talking captions or lyrics?
Got to.
Lyrics would be like on the video, but caption would come from like the television. Gotcha. This is all hard to do. I wish I had a keyboard. Oh, right there. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Appreciate it. It doesn't. I wish it did. Just maybe this.
Can I ask you a question? Why did you get mad today? Because I haven't
I
heard
can't tell
that.
you, this song is great.
To keep my family members healthy and
First time in St. Joe County Jail with Mary Jo, and it just touches me every time.
Seems like all I could see was the struggle, haunted by ghosts that lived in my past, bound up in shackles of all my failures. Wondering how long is this gonna last? Then you look at this prisoner and say to me, son, stop fighting a fight that's already been won.
It is the story of every single person in this room. Everybody's been redeemed. Everybody's in recovery. You guys are all amazing. I never thought that I'd be standing in front of a group of people talking about this. I mean, I'm Jesse Chester, the heroin meth, the drug dealer. You know? I was never this person, but all of that's gone. Every single one. I never have to look back. I don't have to worry about anything in my past. Like Callie said, she comes to Sturgis for this and she leaves. I go home to see my mom and I leave. There is no reason to go back. There is no reason to talk to people. I can tell you guys that my life now is the most amazing thing I've ever had. Amen. I have people that believe in me. Praise God. My mom's here. Whoa. You know, I didn't think that I would ever be anything, really. My whole life I just sat thinking I'm just this little girl in the corner, you know, and it's better to have a needle in my arm than anything else. Yeah, I'm freaking right. Come on. Like, who wants that life at all? So, I want to end today and just tell you guys all thank you for coming. And Callie, you're amazing. Keep the story going so that I can follow every single move.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys from Destiny that came and new people back there in the corner. Please come back and join us again. And I just want to end in a closing prayer so everybody can bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for today. We want to thank you for our guest speaker. We want to ask if every single suffering addict out there, you can just wrap your arms around them and show them the way. Show them to a meeting, show them to anything that can get them clean, God. I want to just thank you and praise you. I want to praise you for the music today. You know, feeling it in my soul, it makes me feel like you're right here and all the way around me. So thank you, God. Thank you for giving us a church, for giving us friends, for giving us recovery. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, everybody.